Now to the other major developing story. Russia is now warning the United States about that possible strike in Syria after the suspected chemical attack that left dozens dead. The UN Security Council will meet about the dangerous situation this morning. And World News Tonight anchor David Muir is there in the region for us. Good morning, David.
Robin, good morning to you. Here in the region, they are definitely bracing for some sort of military strike. They know that the president back in the United States met with his top national security advisors, his national security team in the last 24 hours. But as you mentioned, just this morning, in fact, a short time ago, the Russians coming out and now saying they have irrefutable proof that the chemical attack in Duma was a setup, despite the horror already seen by the world. They are the faces of the children, the families hit with the suspected chemical attack that horrified the world. And this morning, with pressure mounting, President Trump and his national security team and key allies are now carefully debating strategy and the level of proof on the ground. How to strike and when, with the leaders of Britain and France telling the president they too believe something must be done. This morning, new signs airstrikes could be coming, and soon a U.S. destroyer is already in the Mediterranean. British aircraft and French warplanes here too. A French warship right off the coast here in Lebanon. While inside Syria, new images showing Assad's forces and the Russian forces supporting them, suspecting something is coming and soon. Now moving military assets to prepare for any possible attack. In the last 24 hours, the Russians remaining firm. After already sending in their own inspectors, trying to convince the world, despite those chilling images, there was no chemical attack.
We are 100% sure that that was a clear provocation. For example, white helmets, we are absolutely sure were involved in this provocation.
In Washington, President Trump meeting behind closed doors with his national security team late Thursday, just days after the president told the world in a tweet, "Get ready, missiles that are nice and new and smart are coming." But after meeting with his own defense secretary, James Mattis, who is urging caution, the White House is now saying, quote, no final decision has been made. The president talking with his counterparts in France and the UK. British Prime Minister Theresa May says they are committed to working closely together. French President Emmanuel Macron now saying publicly that they have unspecified proof of the attack, that at least chlorine was used. And from President Trump, who said missiles were coming, a more cautious tone in the last 24 hours.
We'll see what happens, folks. We'll see what happens. It's too bad that the world puts us in a position like that.
Likely influenced by his own national security team.
Today, our president did say that he's not made a decision.
And perhaps the real question here this morning, would Syria consider another one of these isolated airstrikes like what we saw about a year ago? A relatively small price to pay given the significant gains they've made in Syria against the rebels. Take a look at these images. They're quite telling from the last 24 hours. That's Syrian President Bashar al-Assad meeting with the Iranians in Damascus. You can see the smiles on their faces. And Robin, in Duma, where that suspected chemical attack took place, there are now reports the Syrian flag is now flying again.
David, can you give us a sense of the atmosphere there in Beirut where you are?
Well, they're certainly bracing, particularly given those words from President Trump earlier in the week about missiles coming, new, smart missiles. Be ready for them. They're on the way. But I can tell you that independent inspectors were here in Beirut in the last 24 hours. We've now learned they've made their way to Damascus. They have arrived. They're expected to go to that site. But Robin, as you know, the big question now, several days after that alleged attack, what kind of evidence, what kind of proof will they be able to find?
That is the question. All right, David, you'll have more for us later and also, of course, tonight on World News Tonight. David, thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.